to Connected and Respected.
Welcome to Connected and Respected, everybody. Today we're going to talk about identifying feelings. First, we're going to do a little feeling game, okay? And we're going to think about how actors and actresses show their feelings on their faces, that we can tell when we're watching by what we see on their face. So I'm going to read out some things, and I'm going to challenge you to show on your face how you might feel. So can everybody turn so the cameras can see our faces? Can you put your knees that way so that people can see your face? Yeah. And I'm going to read something out loud, and y'all at home listen to and make your face also. And after each one, we're going to look around at each other's faces and see how people might feel. Okay? So our first feeling face is we're going to show the face we would have if today was our birthday. All right, everybody take a look at each other's faces. Okay. The next feeling is your birthday present gets lost. The next feeling is you find your birthday present. Take a look. We're doing this silently with just our faces and not our hands. Thank you. Then there is a bee flying around your head. Then the bee lands on your arm. Different people might have different feelings. The bee flies away. Then you start playing with your friend. And your friend accidentally breaks your favorite toy. Then your friend says she's sorry. Then it starts snowing outside. And your mom says you can't go outside in the snow. But then she changes her mind. All right. So let's turn back around. Thank you, everybody, for making those feeling faces. So we've been learning and thinking about in our Connected and Respected and I Can Problem Solve lessons about how to help each other out and how to work together and cooperate. Today we're going to learn more about our feelings and how we communicate them. Being able to communicate our feelings is important in helping us solve our problems, right? Because a lot of times our problems, part of it is our emotions and how we feel about the situation. First, we'll think of some words that describe feelings, like feeling words. Then we'll do some art. And then we'll wrap up what we learned and summarize it. All right, is everybody ready? Let's get our feet ready to learn. Let's get our bottoms ready to learn. Let's get our hands ready to learn. Let's get our shoulders ready to learn. Let's get our deep breath ready to learn. Let's get our eyes on the teacher ready to learn and our ears ready to learn. All right, thanks. So, now that you've shown some feelings on your faces, we're going to see if we can name those feelings. One thing we've been talking about when we talk about feelings is thinking about feelings in different ways, like energy level, energy, and attentiveness. And then on the other side, pleasant and uncomfortable. Pleasant are, yeah. So this would be like low energy. This would be like a lot of energy. And this would be like super uncomfortable, and this would be like more pleasant, right? So let's think of how many feeling words can y'all think of? How many do you think you can think of? Can you think of one that we had when I was reading out loud? Yeah, when we were making feeling faces. What was one you thought of? little more energy and more pleasant. What's another one you can think of?
Excited.
Excited. That's more energy.
Calm.
Keep on thinking of as many different feeling words as you can.
Ecstatic.
Ecstatic, super energy, happy. Yeah.
Comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Calm.
We already had that one. Can you think of a different one? Yeah.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Okay. Think of our list that we said. Today's your birthday present gets lost, you find it, there's a bee flying around your head, the bee lands on your arm. Nervous, that's more energy and uncomfortable. What's another one?
Don't know what's going on.
Oh, like confused or uncertain or
Confused.
confused. Okay. Confused. What's another one you can think of?
Sad.
Can you think of a different one? Let's read our list. Today is your birthday. You would feel
Content.
content. Your birthday present gets lost.
Don't know where it is.
So what kind of feeling would you have if you don't know where your birthday present was?
Can't find something and feel not so great about it.
Yeah. Can you think of what? Can you give her a word for if you can't find something and you feel not so great?
Worried.
Worried. That's a good word. Worried. Okay. You find your birthday present.
Really excited.
Excited. Okay. There's a bee flying around your head.
We already did that one.
Yeah. Which word was it?
It was nervous.
It was nervous. Okay. Did you have another word for that feeling? Yeah.
Trying to
Mm-hmm.
Mad.
Mad. Okay. The bee lands on your arm.
Nervous.
Nervous. How about you, Marcus?
Comfortable.
Comfortable. We could also add curious. Huh? Curious. The other day we had a bee and we were really curious about what it looked like and how it acted. Anyway, well, I think those are some words. Let's see if we can add to these words by thinking of a little story. Okay? And we're going to pause at different times and see if we can think of a feeling word. Okay?
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
I know this book.
You know this
It
book?
also is a movie.
This is the tale of Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy, Mopsy, Cottontail, and Peter. They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. Oh my All right. Let's see. Now, my dears, said old Mrs. Rabbit one morning, you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there. He was put in a pie by Mrs. McGregor. That sounds very sad. Now run along and don't get into mischief. I'm going out. Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her umbrella and went through the wood to the baker's. She bought a loaf of brown bread and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy, and Cottontail, who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather blackberries. How does it feel to gather blackberries?
Nice.
Nice, yeah.
Yummy.
Yummy. Okay. But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to Mr. McGregor's garden and squeezed under the gate.
Worried.
First he ate some lettuces and some French beans, and then he ate some radishes, and then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. How is he feeling now?
Sick.
All right. But round the end of a cucumber frame, whom should he meet but Mr. McGregor? How's he feeling?
Nervous. And scared.
Scared. Well, that's one we can add. Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting out young cabbages, but he jumped up and ran after Peter, waving a rake and calling out, "Stop, thief!"
He's feeling mad.
He's feeling mad. But round the end of a cucumber frame, wait, there we go. Sorry, we're here. Peter was most dreadfully frightened. Which word was that?
Scared.
Yeah, what word did the book use? He was most dreadfully
Frightened.
frightened. He rushed all over the garden, for he had forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his shoes among the cabbages and the other shoe amongst the potatoes. How's he feeling?
Scared.
Scared. And he lost his things and he forgot things.
Sad.
Sad. So we have scared and we have sad. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster, so that I think he might have got away altogether if he had not unfortunately run into a gooseberry net and got caught by the large buttons in his jacket. It was a blue jacket with brass buttons, quite new. Any new feelings? Yes.
Scared that his mom might be mad.
Mm-hmm. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some, so he was sobbing. That's pretty deeply uncomfortable, huh? Sobbing. And if you're sobbing big tears, what are you doing?
Crying.
Yeah, crying. Whoa. But his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew to him with great excitement. It's exciting again. And implored him to exert himself. So how might he be feeling now? Excited. So they're happy. And they're encouraging him. So maybe he's starting to feel a little more hopeful because he was crying, and then he had some friends give him some encouraging words. How do you think the birds are feeling? Maybe they're feeling a little compassionate. Yeah, because they're helping someone. And if he's going to try again after he gave up, then that would be
Brave.
brave. That's a word we've been talking about a lot, huh? Okay. Mr. McGregor came up with a seed which he intended to pop upon the top of Peter, but Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind him. Maybe he feels a little relieved. Yeah? Okay. We're going to try to speed through the rest of this story, so I'll just write the words for the rest, okay? And rushed into the tool shed and jumped into a can. It would have been a beautiful thing to hide in if it had not had so much cold water in it. Cold, uncomfortable, cold. Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed, perhaps hidden underneath a flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each one. Presently, Peter sneezed. Mr. McGregor was after him in no time and tried to put his foot on Peter, who jumped out of a window, upsetting 3 plants. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running after Peter, so he went back to his work. Maybe Peter's feeling relieved, and Mr. McGregor is feeling disappointed or tired. Oh yeah, the book even said he felt tired. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright. He was feeling tired and trembling and frightened. And he had not the least idea of which way to go. He's feeling also uncertain. It's a very emotional story. Also, he was very damp with sitting in that can. After a time, he began to wander about, going lippity, lippity, not very fast, and looking all around. He found a door in the wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for a fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running and put in and out over the stone doorstep, carrying peas and beans to her family in the wood. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she could not answer. She only shook her head at him, and Peter began to cry. He was feeling sad again. He's crying. So let's skip to the end and say what happened at the very end of the story, because we're running out of time. Peter got down very quietly off the wheelbarrow and started running as fast as he could along the straight walk behind some blackcurrant bushes. Mr. McGregor caught sight of him at the corner, but Peter did not care. He slipped underneath the gate and was safe at last in the wood outside the garden. Mr. McGregor hung up the little jacket and the shoes for a scarecrow to frighten away the blackbirds. All right. Well, that was a lot of feeling words, huh? We didn't even get to the whole story, and we filled up our whole thing. Wow. Did his feelings change over the course of the story?
Yes.
Yeah, so feelings are something that don't always stay the same. They can change. Yeah. You can each pick a feeling word that we said and share a time when you felt that feeling word. Or take a second to it. Yeah. Olivia, you have one that you can pick up? Yeah? Which one? Calm. Okay, and which one are you going to pick?
Tired.
Okay, sit back in your chair so that everybody can see you. Can you turn around so they can see your face? Okay. Can you tell about a time when you felt calm?
When he slipped through the gate back.
Can I just say, I, Olivia, sometimes I feel calm when. When do you feel calm?
When someone's next to me and there's no trouble.
What about you? When's the time that you feel tired?
Right after I eat a big meal.
Hmm? Yeah, okay. So let's all take a moment to draw a picture of a feeling that we've had. You can use a picture that we wrote from the story or our activity on the board, or you can think of it, and you at home can do one too. Let's see if I can get our papers out. Oh, Marcus, are your feet ready for learning?
Oh.
Are your eyes ready for learning? That's right. So here is a paper and marker for you. And here's paper and marker for you. Okay. And here, you got it? There you go. So let's all take a moment and draw a picture of a time you had one of these feelings. So which feeling are you going to draw about, Marcus?
Calm.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna draw sad.
Okay. Can you draw a situation where you felt sad? And Livy, which feeling word are you going to draw?
I forgot.
Can you look at the board and think?
Now I know.
Okay. Which feeling word are you going to draw? Happy? Okay. Draw the situation that made you happy, okay? Okay. Now we're going to share our picture as we drew. And what you'll say is how you felt and what you were doing, who else was there, where you were, and what helped, what gave you that feeling, okay? So I'll go first to kind of show you an example, okay? I drew a picture of us going kayaking, and so my feeling was wonder. So my feeling of wonder was we were all in this kayak paddling in the bayou, and there was this big tree with lots and lots of birds called cormorants on it. And there were so many birds, and it was so quiet. And then they all took off and flew away, and I could hear their wings flapping. And so that gave me a sense of wonder, or a feeling of wonder. Marcus, would you like to share your feeling? Your feeling is sad. Can you tell us about the situation?
I got a note home one day. I felt super sad and cranky.
So your note home was from, what does that mean when you get a note home?
I didn't listen.
At school? Okay. I think people understand. He got a note home from school and he felt sad and cranky. Can you tell us about your situation? What was your feeling?
I ran in my room. Happy, like we were screaming. Happy when I saw my first bunny.
So when you saw your first bunny, you felt happy?
Mm-hmm. At school.
So today we began to learn more about feelings. Do you think that some feelings are more difficult to experience or deal with than others? What would be an easy emotion to experience? Yes.
Really excited.
Really excited. That would be super easy. What would be a difficult emotion to feel? Yes.
Grumpy.
Grumpy. Yeah. Do you think maybe part of what you felt, Marcus, was ashamed? Yeah. That one's a really rough one that a lot of people deal with, and it makes us feel kind of isolated and bad about ourselves. Even adults have to deal with all these feelings and learn how to work with them, huh? Yeah. Being able to use a word to describe your feeling can help us in many ways. It can help us communicate to others what we need. We can say, I feel grumpy. I might need a rest. And it can help us understand how someone else feels. So we might say, oh, he's feeling grumpy. It's not a good time, right? Yeah. So thank you all for sharing. And let's close out our lesson with an I can problem solve share. When we do I can problem solve, there's 3 steps. First, we have to use our cool down skills to take care of our bodies. And then second, we say, I don't like it when you, next time I would like you to. Or we get a little more into the story and say what happened and how people felt about it. And the third step is we ask for solutions and we say, would that work for you? And would that work for you? And see if we can come up with something that works for everyone to fix it. Does that work? Yeah. So we had talked about sharing about, there was a problem that happened when we were kayaking. And the problem was that Marcus and Olivia both wanted to paddle. But how we make it safe is there's always one child paddling and one adult paddling.
That didn't happen in Mexico.
When we were paddling at Chico, remember? Near the tupelo trees? Yeah.
Oh, just to be safe because tupelo trees are big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you remember Olivia wanted to paddle and you wanted to paddle at the same time? And you both started to cry. And we can't be really moving in the boat a lot. We got to be careful, huh? So first we did some cool down skills. And I asked you to take some deep breaths. Can you show everybody some deep breaths? And then someone said, and I don't like it when you. Can you show an I don't like it when you?
I don't like it when you paddle and I want to paddle. Next time, can you not paddle when I want to paddle? Okay.
Does that work for you? Does that work for you? Okay, what could work for you?
If one person can paddle and then they can tell the other person when they want to paddle.
Does that work for you? Does that work for you? What's your other idea? Marcus, are your feet ready for learning?
If
are your
we
eyes ready for
really want to our turn, we can count to 10, and then it's our turn to switch.
Does that work for you? Does that work for you? Yeah. Okay. I think what we did was we said, this person will paddle up to that tree, and then the other person will have a turn. Huh? I think that's what we did. Thank you so much for talking about feelings today. Can you tell everybody thank you for joining us?
Thank you for joining us.